to Model Kit Stuff. I thought we'd have a quick look at the new Supermarine Spitfire. This is a new tool kit that's just come out from Airfix. It's been out 2 or 3 weeks now. I got this 2 or 3 weeks ago, but as you will see at this moment in time, it is yet to be opened. The only thing I've done is remove the flying hours, which is always my first thing. So this is, it retails at about £10. It's a skill level 2, standard Airfix affair, 2 paint options, brand new tooling. So let's have a look inside. Okay, so we've emptied the box. Okay, so we've opened up the box, and it's on the face of it a fairly standard Airfix affair, all in one poly bag, so all the parts can rub together nicely and get scratched. They're not the only people that do it, but it is a pain. The glass parts are in a separate bag, again fairly standard Airfix affair. And what you get is these 4 sets of sprue, some decals and some instructions, which we'll have a look at in a moment. I had to stop for a quick coughing fit. Of course, when I'm videoing, I'm going to want to cough, aren't I? So let's take a closer look. So this frame here, what we can see is, and there's quite a bit of debate about this, I see on various modelling forums, the panel lines are neither too thin or too thick. Sometimes they seem to be really large, but these look really quite nice. Shape all looks okay, plenty of detail, rivet detail and the like, and there's some interior detail there along with some nice injector pin marks. I think this builds up with an interior cockpit tub, so that probably none of those will be seen, so that's quite nice. And it has quite a wide opening here. I believe from what I read on the Airfix website, it has a slightly different or a new method of fitting the propeller on, so I'll be interested to see that. A little bit of interior detail there. No options for flaps that I can see that are movable. If we go on to have a look at this one, so some nice texture in there. Detail is pretty much as you'd expect for this day and age. So Airfix increasingly are up with the main runners. You know, if this was an Edward kit, these things would be separates. But what Airfix are doing is keeping that part count down, and therefore keeping, I guess, the budget down. You know, they aim this at 8 years and plus, and when you look at other manufacturers that are putting etching and stuff, well then you've got to be 14 years plus, but by law. So they're keeping it down to the pocket money brand, but that all looks okay. One thing I have noticed is you've got options, wingtip options here, the traditional sort of Mark 1 shape that everyone's familiar with, and also the later version, trimmed version, which gave it a better performance. So that's interesting. So in here we've got seat. It's got a nice little bit of texture on there. Several bulkheads, which is good. It means they've done more than a simple blanking off job. Up and down undercarriage. These look like undercarriage frames for inside the wings, so that's nice. Tyres and wheels are all together, and they don't look like they're weighted. And then we've got 2 different prop types. So yeah, details nice. There's some nice finesse in some of the casting. Here's the cockpit tub, which again has some ejection marks that those ones probably will need filling. Raised dials, and then if we look at this last one here, we've got the various 2 different types of nose cone. We've got the air scoops, looks like 2 different exhaust patterns, pilot, so gas bottles in there. That's part of the new propeller spinner system, you can see. Pilot, see if we can get a bit closer to the pilot. Pilot's in his standard Airfix pose. Not sure if that's a new pilot or not, I'm guessing probably not. Floor pan with some pedals. I can already see some aftermarket opportunities here. So that's the plastic parts. It's not an Edwards set, but you paid £10, so you get what you paid your money for. That looks like a very nice kit for the money, if I'm honest. So let's have a look at the decals and the instructions. So if you're familiar with recent Airfix kits, then these instructions will be something that are fairly standard to you. I personally like the fact that they highlight in red where the last part was placed. It gives you a nice bit of reference further on. As always, Airfix instructions amongst some of the best in my opinion. They give you very clear broken down steps. They give you your paint colours as you go. So yeah, and from the point of view of youngsters, these are really easy to follow compared to some other instructions you can get out there. So as we can see there, the cockpit has quite a few components in. Obviously it's not what you'd expect if you were putting a resin cockpit in. I'm sure Edward or someone will do something. There's the situation with the spinner. So they seem to have a large piece. Let's see if we can find it just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So this piece here is that piece there, so that fits in, and then the propeller is mounted on top of that, so that's the bit that actually spins, and then this part here glues onto there, and I think you can see the propeller sits on that and is glued onto that, and then that gets glued on top and the whole thing spins. So that's quite interesting. Whether that's going to stop the problem that you can sometimes get with the pin type where the propeller will drop and sag a little bit, that'll be really interesting to see if they found a nice get around from that. Other than that, fairly standard. Couple of options there depending on the paint schemes, A and B, so we'll have a look at those in a minute. Doesn't appear to have option for a display base, so if you're going to put a base on it you'd have to do a modification. Yep, and there you go, that's the spinner being assembled. So I think that was the sort of the innovation of this kit. So the build takes up 32 steps. So let's have a look at the paint schemes. So this is the one I think most people will do because of that really nice smiley toothy grin. So this is there we go, United States Air Force, December 42. So Algeria, so North Africa, which is quite a nice scheme, nice bit of camouflage. And then the other option B, is South Africa. South African Air Force, sorry, Italy, October 43. So that's also quite a nice pattern, you know. I like these red tail tips. I like the red tail, but it doesn't have a smiley mouth, so I'm probably going to do the smiley mouth one. But I do have 2 copies of this kit, so my 8-year-old daughter is going to build the other one with me. In fact, this one's hers, I've already opened mine. So yeah, okay. For £10, you're getting quite a bit for your money there, I think. Should build into a nice kit. Let's have a look at the decals. As always, the decals from Airfix are clearly laid out. Looks a bit orangey. I don't know whether that's deliberate. I'm sure that's correct, but I've not seen that before. A bit unusual, but must be right. There's our little Halloween grin and a couple of eyes. And then you've got the common ones up there, some really tiny. If you look at the size of those compared to my finger, and I don't have big hands, some really tiny decals there that will really enhance it if you can be bothered, which, well, I will. And then let's just go in there. That's the dials for the dashboard. They look really nice, but it's a raised dashboard, so how well they'll sit remains to be seen. Even with some microsol stroke set. So yeah, all in all, fairly standard fare for a 172 Second World War fighter aircraft from Airfix. A novel way of putting the spinner on. I'd be interested to see if when we build it that improves the issue of having to glue it in place, or being able to keep it rotating and it not sagging. But yeah, nicely detailed kit. It's not an Edward kit, but you're not paying an Edward price. So you pay your money, you take your choice. I think this looks lovely. I might even do a little build guide on this one possibly. Okay, see you soon.